We've got the young lady responsible for Nature Project's music record label live in the studios with us. She, of course, is the co-founder of Nature Projects. One and only Miss Juliet Edwards, also Siddy Ranks' manager as well. And goodness knows how many other people she's managing these days.
Yeah, that's right.
Pardon?
Yeah, that's right. I also manage Clinark and Bunny Melody,
Oh, that's right.
Ginger Spice and others.
So tell us a little bit about Nature Projects. How did you actually get involved in it, and what made you decide to do Nature Projects?
Well, let's go back, say, to about 2004. And prior to that, I'd been working with Tony Williams on Rhythm 365. And through a link through there, somebody had said that somebody was looking for a manager. Now, I'd only been managing radio part-time, and I had my day job working in government as a procurement manager. So I thought, well, okay, that really can't work. But then I did a tour, and I think somebody recommended me to a gentleman who was called Clinark Dill, who sang under the name of Dillinger. So we talked online, as you do, and then my brothers worked in music, and so we agreed that he'd come over and record about 3 songs. This was about 2004, and he came over and he made quite a sort of impression on everybody, and we introduced him to Mafia and Fluxy and different producers. So he made a decision to come over and work on an album, and I agreed to. What I agreed at that point was that I would find him a manager, because I hadn't at that time, even though I managed in a day job, I hadn't at that time thought that I would do music management, because I thought, well, you know, you've got to have a lot of links and everything else like that. So after doing that, we were working together, spent a lot of time together, and he was working on the songs that he had to write, and we started off saying we'll do a 14-track album. In the end, as you know, Dave, it became 18-track album, which was now called Journey to Foreign. And what also came about was that when I was at school, I used to write plays and songs and things, and so I started helping out, and then ended up co-writing on quite a few of the tracks, if not all, on the album. So
basically, you've done quite a lot of writing yourself.
Yes, and co-writing with Clinark and other people, because I think I'm naturally a writer, but I was into dub poetry, Linton Kwesi Johnson, all that kind of stuff, and I wrote a few songs, and then naturally started working with Clinark and the way that he works. He vibes on a song and everything, and then after a while I'd help structure it into, you know, something that's more into the verses, and have a theme going through it. So that's how we work together, and that's how Journey to Foreign came about.
So you've also done a bit of production work yourself.
I think
co-production.
Co-production, yeah. So jointly we produced Journey to Foreign with Mafia and Fluxy, and it was most of the recordings were done at Stingray Studio in London.
There's a track on here, track number 2. Tell us a little bit about that track and the history behind that.
Well, Life in the Ghetto is a track that there's a collaboration on there with Peter Heritage and Gramps Morgan. And originally the whole album, as it was being conceived, we started working on it, and then Clinark got invited to do a tour in Holland. And we went to Holland with the tracks, which were almost in sort of a demo form, and they were performed live with the Poorman Friend band. And as we did that recording, it came out so well that prior to the album coming out, people demanded that they had the live album, which at that time no radio DJ would even touch it. We sort of tested the waters and said, no one plays live albums, whatever. You know, it's a bit disastrous, but we had so many requests for it that we said, well, it'd be more viable to actually press it and put it out. So that became the first live album that we put out, and on there is the song Life in the Ghetto. The original song, a lot of the original songs are on the live album. And so when we approach, because everybody knows that Clinark is a great Morgan Heritage fan, so we approached them to work on the album, not expecting that they would, and so they agreed and that they collaborated on it with us, and they produced part of it. So that's how that Life in the Ghetto came about.
The live album, was it? Is it? If I remember, I don't know what the thing. Is it the Earth Band or something? Was it?
Poorman Friend band from Holland.
Oh, that's right. Completely. It's got, I think, 10 tracks on it, if I remember rightly.
Yes, something like that.
I played it so many times live, and like you said, like Clinark couldn't even believe it himself that there was a DJ actually playing the live album on the air.
Yeah, and also, as you know, Clinark's from Bermuda. And there's a DJ there called Don Bassett, I have to big him up all the time. And he was playing Clinark all the time, and he puts it on the head of his show all the time. So we had a lot of support from around the world. So so that turned out to be a real gem, and even now there's quite a demand for it, and it regularly sells out.
Well, a little birdie told me Nature Projects is going to repress it.
Yes, we're thinking of repressing that along with some of the other work we're doing. So,
well, I think you should.
Yeah, because I don't know, because as I said, how many stations are really playing sort of live music? So that's.
Don't worry about the stations and the DJs, because you promote it anyway. But it's an album, and it just shows the versatility of Clinark, how well he works with a band, and it just shows you that it's pure reggae music. Not this artificial stuff. It's the pure stuff.
Yeah, well, I think Clinark's background was from he was about 14 or 15. He started off in Bermuda with a band which was similar to what we had as a musical youth. So they were the big band over there called Youth Creation, and he worked with the band. He plays keyboards and drums, and his father and mother were good musicians, etc. And his great grandfather was a big singer on the island as well. So he had that background, and live music is him. He comes alive on stage. That is him, live music.
He's an all-rounder.
Yes, and in fact, when we came to record in the studio, everything was so live, and he regularly just go through all his tracks and everything very quickly. And that was a bit of amazement to everybody, but that's because that's what he does. He's a live singer right from an early age, and that's how he performs. So we had to learn new techniques, obviously, as a recording artist, and that held us in good stead. So from now, we're still producing music.
We're gonna give track 2 a spin.
Thank you.
Would you like to introduce it?
Yeah. This is Life in the Ghetto, Clinark featuring Peter Heritage and Grants Morgan from Morgan Heritage.
I understand you put pen to paper on some of this.
Yes, in parts. A really good track, and also the vibe at the time was great. So Phantom then put his own spin on it. So part of that Nowhere TV, some of the lyrics I did, and then other parts Clinark did. And as we said, we worked with Stingray and Matthew and Floxy were the key producers on it. And so that's how that track came about.
As a couple that work together, how do you two get on in the studios? Do you sort of argue about things, or do you basically agree with one another about it should be done this way or it should be done that way? Or do you tell him, no, it's got to be done this way?
No, I think there's a synergy because I think Clinark thinks his world is music, so that's the way he thinks.
You forgot the football.
Oh yes, and the football, and of course everybody knows he's a great fan of
Michael
Michael
single,
Jackson.
You'll Never Walk Alone, coming soon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so as you know, Clinark he lives through music, and I think when he's composing or he gets an idea, he vibes on it for a long time, and then I can feel where he wants to go with the song sometimes, if he needs any help or whatever. So that's how we work together. And sometimes I'll be listening, doing other things, and hearing the song over and over again, and then I might get an inspiration and think, look, let's go somewhere with this. What do you think? And then he listens to it and he said, yeah, actually that's what it needs. So that's how we come backwards and forwards together.
He's a bit of a musician himself as well, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he plays keyboards, he produces and composes, and also he plays drums.
Did you know Clinark told me that there's one track, and I can't remember what it's called, that you were playing the drums on?
Well, he might have said that.
I can't. Clinark, can you remind me, what track was it? Clinark told me you played drums on one of the tracks.
Maybe one of the demos, maybe. I wouldn't remember.
I don't know. Or was it, it may have been the Spoons you were playing.
Yeah, it could have been.
Well, we got a track, track 4. Tell us a little bit about that track.
Right, that track, Ain't That Something, the lyrics are sort of, this is Clinark on his own, when you try to do it right. I think we started that off with sort of just the lines of, when you, ain't that something, or when you try to do what's right and nothing goes right for you. So that's how that song came about, and that was quite, some of these songs, I mean, literally talking that they were 4 years in the making, from demo to the live album, from the live album being developed. Gussie P worked on some of the most of the tracks when they were in their early stages, and then later on, Matthew Fluxy, Stanley Andrews, quite a few people worked on them. So the whole album was like a 4-year development, which just kept growing and growing. And you know, Clinark's an enthusiast, so when we got to 14 tracks, we were like, yeah, it's done. No, and then all of a sudden he'll come up with, I've got one more, and it has to go on this album. So you know, and you're trying to be economical and say, look, we'll put that on the next one. But no, he knows what he wants, and he put together, and it's a good body of work that I'm really proud of now.
He's been doing some gigs just recently as well. He was doing some stuff for Open the Gate.
Yeah, and he did a gig at Hootenanny and everything. I mean,
so I heard it was a roadblock.
Yeah, it was good, and I mean, I hope he doesn't mind mentioning, but obviously for the last 3 years he hasn't been well. He does suffer from vertigo.
No, we know that. But
sometimes,
you know.
So and obviously while we've been working on new work, he's not been able to perform, but through medicine and seeing the top people, he's back now and able to perform. And so in that time he's been working on other stuff. So yeah, so it's good for him back, because most of his fans are like desperate to see him, and hopefully going forward into 2016 that there'll be more opportunities for him to perform. It's quite difficult, as you know, to get on anywhere to perform. So hopefully there'll be more demand for him to be on somebody's stage.
I know one of Clinark's ambitions is to sing live one song at Anfield in front of all the fans. He wants to go out there and sing live at Anfield. But what song would it be, I wonder?
Oh, I don't know, but You Never Walk Alone, maybe.
Well, when he does the new single, yes, it's very possible. But that's one of his ambitions, because he's a big Liverpool fan. He wants to go up to Anfield and sing live in the middle of the green.
Well, the thing is with Clinark, when he has a dream, he pursues it to the utmost.
So it could be happening then?
Yeah, it probably will happen, because anything that he sets his mind to, and some things that I think are impossible, they're not going to happen. They happen.
Are you going to be the backing singer?
I might be at the gate collecting the money.
or maybe Siddy Ranks?
Well,
now there was a little story. I was told last year that Siddy Ranks and Clinark, before I put you all together, was gonna do a song together, and it hasn't come off yet.
Yeah, well, we're in talks. We're looking at things together, and there's possibility. There's lots of creative energy around at the moment, and everybody's doing
a big buzz.
A lot of different projects coming about. So who knows?
Oh, there you go, Clinark. It's all coming out now, mate. Your manager has spoken. Right, we're going to give this one a spin. Do you want to play it for anybody, Juliet? Track 4?
Ain't That Something? I think I'll play it for Clinark, because I think the message is there.
Message in the bottle.
Yeah.
Hey, Clinark, listen to the words very closely. I hope you haven't forgotten this track.